Finally, the video we've all been waiting for. Today's video I will speculate everything about the Piggy DLC. But before that, let's talk about one more hidden ending from Book 2. The player find a radio and ask Mimi to get the radio working, while you continue to find the cure. Soon, you find the room with the cure, where Willow and Tigry were fighting. You start shouting at Willow to stop fighting. Tigry starts to mention how both him and Willow are alike, since they both keep their pain buried in themselves. Suddenly, Mimi interrupts the talk, and asks everyone to come outside to check something. Everyone then comes outside and sees a military jet landing. Sergeant Monroe then starts talking how they arrived, and starts to get confused on how to begin with Tigry, who was once a part of the military, but deserted them, and Willow, an infamous criminal. Suddenly, a bunch of infected appear behind the player and the rest of the group. Sergeant Monroe orders his team to start shooting the infected, when you are brought to your mind with Unknown. The Unknown mentions his disappointment in you, and when you are about to interrupt him, he reveals his name as Tio, and he is also called as the Entity, the Insolent and the Iniquitous One. Tio starts to talk about how you didn't heed to Tio's warning to follow the current path, since Tio is trying to save everyone from themselves. Tio also mentions that free will is destructive, and free will is also what has destroyed the entire world, since Mr. P has destroyed the world due to free will, and that the cure you have will cause thousands of survivors to fight over it for their loved ones, and that many will lose in the battle. You disagree with Tio, saying that the cure is hope for the future, and that it will cause the world to slowly retain its place like how it was prior to the infection. Tio starts to get angry, since you are too oblivious and cannot foresee the destruction of the future, and that Tio has no choice but to take you out. Tio then starts to turn into his distorted form, and you, Pony, Georgie and Z are brought into Tio's distortion. You do puzzles in the distorted versions of the alleys, ship, docks, temple and camp. Another distortion comes over you, where hallucinations start to appear. Pony is being attacked by his infected father, Peter, at the distorted city. At the distorted house, Georgie is about to fall from a high place, and below him is his distorted sister, Penny. At the distorted safe place, Z is staring at an infected Zizzy. After giving weapons to each of them to knock out the hallucinations, you think of an idea that, since you are in your memories, then you can use those memories themselves against Tio, and then you boss battle Tio. You go up to the second level containing distorted versions of the gallery, the hospital, and the mall. You give weapons to memories of Bunny, Doggy and Zizzy to knock out Tio, while being chased by other memories created by Tio to stop you. After being knocked out by the memories created by you, Tio is defeated, and you are brought back to reality. Sergeant Monroe and his team has defeated the infected, and then Pony and Georgie congratulate you for defeating Tio. Willow then starts to talk with Tigry and apologizes to him for hurting Tigry. She also thanked you for making her realize that in her pursuit for revenge, she pushed others close to her further from her. Willow and Tigry then leave, and everyone goes along with the military. The screen cuts to Kona's home, where Giraffe converses with Georgie, Z and Zuzi. Mimi converses with Kona and Pony sits in a chair, reading the news. You and Zizzy, who is cured now, stand near Pony. Pony then starts complaining about carrot prices, so Zizzy suggests to him to grow carrots on his own, making Pony take his word back. The camera then zooms out of Zizzy, shows a distorted crack and then cuts to black. It remains unclear what this scene is supposed to mean. There are 4 extra chapters in Book 2. The first is called The Heist. You will either play as Pony or Willow in the alley. I won't talk about this, I think it's too generic as a map of monsters and mortals. The second, third and fourth could be possible. The second one is called The Distraction. It's the story after the event of Book 2 Chapter 3 where you play as Zizzy to escape the oil refinery. However, I feel like there are better maps as compared to this level. Next is known as The Breakout. You will play as Tigry and the story take place before the event of Book 2. This chapter basically explained Tigry's origin as a part of the military crew with Sergeant Monroe. This chapter happened in a war zone trench while being chased by a monster named Umbra. Lastly, the extra-level name Mansion take place in the mansion with the monster being Duokara. That's all of the Piggy story and plot element. Now I will jump straight into the speculation. Before we begin, let's listen to what Vince confirmed with us about the Piggy DLC.
Sure. Have any plans been finalized for the Piggy DLC yet? Stuff like the map or the characters being included in the DLC. Yeah, some stuff has been finalized. I think the map and the characters that we have selected have been finalized. We basically are just going off of what Minitoon shares with us and suggests. So he gave us a bunch of the most popular maps in Piggy, and we kind of selected from that based on which ones we thought, or which one we thought, was the best addition to Monsters and Mortals. So some stuff, like a school or something, wouldn't fit because we already have so many. We already have 2 schools in Monsters and Mortals, we don't need a 3rd one. So we try to find an environment that's unique, it stands out, and it offers something very special that isn't present in Monsters and Mortals yet. We don't want to do, like, they had one that was like a cargo ship. We already have Monstrum, it's already on a cargo ship, so we don't want 2 cargo ships, that would just be stupid. So, stuff like that.
So basically he confirmed that maps that are similar to other Monsters and Mortals maps will not be chosen. So we can eliminate school, hospital, carnival, mall, store, sewers, factory due to Poppy Playtime DLC, ship due to Monstrum DLC, as well as port and dock because I think there are no difference to the idea of ship and it's not unique enough as compared to the rest. And I do remember in one of the Q&A session, Vince did confirmed he will take the map from Book 2 of Piggy. So we can officially eliminate all Book 1 maps. Now I have only 4 proposal for the maps. So my first idea would be the temple map. Because I believe this map is the most outstanding one when you look at the rest of the map. You can imagine the temple would look ancient with many spider webs around since the monster here is Spidella. So if this is the map, I believe Spidella will be a trap together with the spider webs because I already have a candidate for the boss in which I will reveal later down the road. The next map would be the lab. Since we are talking about Piggy, so Glowstick would definitely give us a real Piggy as the monsters. Since this distorted Piggy is the finale of the game, why not using this map and giving us this Piggy? If you watch the part 2 of my video, you will realize that the map literally already provide us the trap known as crawling trap inside the vent of the map. The lab is also unique enough especially when talking about infection apocalypse. Lab is the most famous place throughout many iteration of zombie apocalypse story. The next map would be my most wanted map. Remember back in the days, I've made a video about ideas for Dark Deception 2. I did mentioned about the idea of warfare horror in the trenches. It will be the most unique map throughout Monsters and Mortals history. I really want a warfare trench map where we can have our beloved monsters roam around. The traps for this map could be the random attack of bombs, since it's the trenches. Last but not least, I think it's also possible that Minitoons would suggest to use the distorted map from the hidden ending that I've mentioned early in the video, because it's the map that introduced the big boss of the game known as Tio. And it's also a way where they can merge various different maps across the Piggy story into this realm. This would greatly represent the whole Piggy franchise as a DLC. If this is truly the map for the DLC, the only possible trap idea I have would be the hallucinations. After speculating all of the possible maps and I've also given the possible traps for each map ideas. Let's talk about the boss. No matter what map Glowstick decided to choose, I believe Tio will always be the boss. Since this entity is also the big boss of the main game itself. No doubt it shall be the boss. Unless Glowstick decided to go for the Super Brute route from Monstrum DLC, then it would probably be multiple Piggy as the boss to represent the idea of infection just like the zombies. Now that I've done with the boss, we only left the monsters and the mortals. For the mortals I have several candidate. The first being Zizzy, she is one of the main character throughout the Piggy storyline. I am seriously in love with her design. This character has one of the most unique design throughout the Piggy storyline. She is a zebra, with a Puss in Boots costume, but is in pink. So why not make her a mortal? If she is the mortals, I believe she would attack with her rapier. The next possible mortal would be Pony since he is the main character throughout Book 1 and Book 2 as well. If he is the mortals I would imagine him as a humanoid-looking pony with glasses and a beanie. The next 2 possible mortals would be Willow and Tigry, since they both play a major role in Book 2 storyline. And to be honest, who wouldn't want a wolf character and also a tiger character in Monsters and Mortals? But all of them will be the first ever non-human mortals in the entire game. Last but not least, Glowstick might just choose George to be a mortal. Since we are talking about Piggy franchise, it would make sense if they must force a pig character in the roster. Now that we've done talking about the mortals, let's talk about the possible monsters. I believe the most likely monster to get chosen will be the original Piggy, since it's the mascot of the Piggy franchise. I can already imagine the skin would be several famous Piggy skins such as Zompiggy, Memories, Distorted Piggy, Sentinel, Gold Piggy, Angel, Devil, Dino Piggy and Frostiggy. Not all of them will be selected, but all of these are possible. Next might be Doggy or Bunny. You may watch my part 1 video where I discuss about their role throughout the storyline. It would be unique to have an officer dog monster in our monster roster. That's all I believe. It could be a rare chance to get so much monster in this game. Most likely we will only get one monster, being the Piggy, and perhaps more mortals. I'm happy with it if they only give us one monster, as long as we can get more skins for the Piggy as mentioned just now. That's all of my speculation. Let me know if you agree or if you have other ideas. Comment down below. Goodbye everyone.